Instructional video on how to set up the Blowfish on an end cap. We're using a 4-foot end cap. Most stores are going to be using a 3-foot end cap. However, we're using a 4-foot in our warehouse today to show you how it goes in. The installation will be basically the same. I've got Sean McClave here. Any questions you ever have too, you can always email him. He's already should have sent you, and you should be in receipt of an installation kit that came in the pack. Inside that kit, Sean's going to hold up what you've got there, but basically you've got 2 straps, which are a long and a short strap. We'll show you what goes on with those, as well as an written instructions that you'll want to have in case you have forgotten anything after this video. The third thing that's going to be in that packet are some zip ties. And so there's going to be a dozen or so zip ties inside that we'll use to secure the accessories onto the board itself. Lastly, the only thing you're going to need to trim those zip ties are a couple of tools. I prefer to use a pair of clippers, or if you have scissors that are available in the stores, what I'll usually do is go borrow a pair of clippers from the tool section of the store and replace them when I'm done. So that's it. The first thing you're going to want to do after you've gotten everything out, what Sean's got in front of him is a box of inventory ready that we're going to use for the display, as well as over here, he's already brought the inventory out that we're going to put on the end cap. So if you've got this all ready to go, then we're ready to start putting everything together. The only other thing you're going to want to have is a fact tag. He's pointing to that. That's available for print. If the store does not have it, we can ship it to you, but this is crucial that it gets put up the minute that the installation is done, so people can know the pricing, all the important bullets, as well as on the left-hand side is a sidekick that we've added to certain stores that also have this available for rent. And, a lot of customers, knowing that these are also for rent on base, are really enthusiastic about going and trying it before they buy it. So the first thing Sean is going to do is he's going to take the long bungee cord, and he's going to show you how to install it on the end cap. This is a 72-inch back wall, so he's going to go 6 notches down. And the way to get this in securely is to go from the side, as he's going to do, and lock it in, and then bring it down, and just leave it there hanging. I'm going to unpack one of the units of inventory.
Grab one pump, one paddle, one snapping fin that'll have the hook, foam protector, one repair kit, bag, open it up, you will have a board inside, which will be wrapped up in its own saran wrap and its own padded protection. And then a strap ring that'll hold the board as it's being packaged.
So once you've pulled it out of the poly bag, we don't have it shown here because this board's already been opened up. There are 2 foam pieces that Sean's going to show you real quickly that we're going to hang on to. So hang on to those 2 foam pieces. We'll show you what we're going to do with those later on.
They'll be on the sides of the board. So you'll see 2 of these on the side rails of the board as you pull it out.
So he's removing the D-ring strap. And you want to go ahead and lay the board down. Now we've got a green board here for the Marine Corps. There are 3 color choices, yellow, blue, green. And for the Army Air Force exchanges, there are 2 color choices, yellow and blue. It's completely up to you as to what board you want to choose to put on display. So he's going to go ahead and unroll that, and we're going to go ahead and prepare to inflate it. He's unpacking the pump. And pulling both the pump and the hose out. Now, He's going to connect the hose, and he's going to show you exactly how that hose goes on. There's actually two sides, here and here. You want to connect it to the side where 15 pounds, which is right here, that's the pressure you're going to want to pump it up to, is at the 12 o'clock position. He's going to put the hose right on that side.
It'll also say out on the hose where you're hooking it up.
Once that's on tightly, he's going to go ahead and connect the hose by removing the seal cap. And then before inflating, very important, ensuring that that plunger pin is in the up or closed position. By pressing and twisting counterclockwise, he's ensured that it's actually up.
Now it's up.
Okay, and then he's going to go ahead and connect the hose by pushing it in and down and twisting clockwise until you feel it lock. The one way you're sure that it's locked is you'll feel it click in, and if you tug on it, it's not pulling up. Now, the pump is a dual action pump. There's a lever he's going to show you that switches it from the single action, which is a bike pump style where you're only putting air in on the downward stroke, and he's going to flip that switch to the right. This is how you start inflation. It goes in twice as fast because with every single stroke, both on the upstroke and the downstroke, he's pushing air, as you will be, pushing air into the board. So it'll start to inflate very quickly. Gone ahead in inflating the board and switched the pump to single action, which is that lever on the left, which means he's only pushing, as he's going to show you, air in the downward stroke. This makes it easier to top the board off to 15 pounds. Now, I'm going to show you on the gauge. There's 15 pounds. What's important is if this board is not inflated to 15 pounds, customers will come up, they'll squeeze it. Right now it's rock hard, but they'll squeeze it and they'll realize in squeezing it it's too flimsy, and they'll think that it's not going to support them, and it'll actually hurt sales, not help sales. So right now he's got it at 15 psi. He's going to remove the hose. The valve seal cap is going to be replaced by fitting it in and turning it clockwise a quarter turn. And now we're ready to start installing the accessories. So for now, we're going to put the pump aside. The first thing that we're going to install is the paddle. So we're going to pull the paddle out of the poly bag. And the paddle will connect together on the shaft by inserting the top into the bottom end, opening up the lever, insert it, close the lever, and then on the bottom we're going to extend the handle out by about 4 inches. So he's going to open this, pull the handle out. He's also going to align the handle with the paddle and go ahead and clamp that shut. And then he's going to insert the handle on the board by taking it and sliding it underneath the bungee system, all 4 bungee cords, running it down to the handle, and we're going to put it in the right side, and then he's going to slide it all the way over. And this is where the zip ties come in handy. So he's going to grab a zip tie and run it through the handle and zip it. And the same thing, he's going to grab a second one. He's going to run it around the shaft and through the D-ring and zip it. And then trim the excess off with the clippers. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to install the bag. So the first thing you're going to do is orient the bag onto the board with the wheels towards the nose and get the straps ready to install on the board. So undo both shoulder straps, and then the waist strap, which he has already tucked in to the board, go ahead, and as it comes unpacked, these are actually out, and what he's done is hidden them by tucking each side, that side and the other side, and he can stuff it in there or reach through the top and pull it through. And that makes for a clean installation. Now, we're going to go ahead and get the short bungee strap. And you want to install it by lifting up the black bungees and hooking it in with the hook down towards the tail of the board, and then that's going to go over the paddle, and you're going to go clear to the other side, lifting up and hooking it in there. Then he's going to feed the shoulder straps through both bungees, the black and the red, and then he's going to feed each strap through, drawing it all the way tight as far as it'll go. Same for the other side. Feeding it through the top, then the bottom, drawing it all the way tight. And then again, to make it look clean, he's going to take the two excess straps, tie them together so they don't hang down below the bottom of the bag when it's on display. Just simply do a couple of overhand knots and you're good. The next thing he's going to do is he's going to flip the bag. And open the bag completely up. And then we need to put some internal cardboard inside so that it holds its form when it's on display. In the box, he's going to take the inner carton out. And what we're going to do is give this a bend at both ends so that it'll fit inside. The bend on this end, he's going to bend to about the width of this bag. The bag itself is about 8 inches. So we've got the bag open. We're going to put some internal cardboard and foam in here so that this bag holds shape and looks nice when we've got it on display. Inside the box, you're going to pull out the inner box, and then you're going to want to fold both ends about the thickness of the bag. So the bag is about 8 inches thick, so you can start here and take one side and fold it, and then start here and take one side and fold it right at about 8 to 10 inches. It's not an exact science. And then you're going to want to go ahead and fit it into the bottom first, run it all the way to the back, and then shove this all the way in. Then working the way up to the top of the bag, you're going to want to spread it and pull it up around that fold so that you've got a nice firm structure. The foam that came when you were unrolling the board, this is where this comes in. Just simply roll it up and then stuff it in here. This holds the top and makes it nice and round, looks good on display. We got both of those pieces in there, and that's it. And then we're ready to go ahead and zip the bag up. So bring the zipper fully around, I'll show you why, but bring both zippers and match them up to the left side right about here where this front pouch is. So I'm bringing this one down, I'm going to bring this one up, and we'll leave them here. Later on, we're going to attach the phone case. So we need to grab 2 more zip ties, and we're going to zip tie the top handle. This also supports the bag. So one zip tie will go on one side of the rubber handle onto the bungee cord. The second one will go on the other side of it. And then once it's pulled tight, trim off the excess, and now we're ready to put the pump in. So the pump will go on faced out, the hose in this orientation out. The first thing we're going to want to do is lift the whole structure, including the bungee cords, underneath, and basically slide this about halfway down so that the logo is facing towards the customer, the hose is facing out. Then we're going to arrange the hose onto this side, and we'll secure it later on with a bungee cord. Now, because the pump is so big, we're going to use a couple of zip ties together. And then we're going to secure the pump. In this case, we're going to need a third one. And we'll secure the pump through the D-ring and back around. And this way that pump won't slip down behind the pack. And again, now that that's secure, I'm going to go ahead and trim it. And now that pump's not going anywhere. And then we'll use a third zip tie for the pump assembly. We're going to do the same thing we did with the paddle. And we're going to run there we go. And so now that's all secured. We'll go ahead and trim that. The next thing we're going to do is install the remaining accessories, which are the fin, the phone case, and the repair kit. Unpack the fin out of the plastic bag. Remove the hanger, this plastic hanger, we don't need that. The fin gets installed on this bottom D-ring. Simply run the zip tie through the hole on the fin, through the D-ring. Tighten it up. We'll trim that in a little bit. The same thing with the phone case, waterproof phone case. A little bit of assembly here required. We're going to take the cellophane off. Inside you'll see a lanyard and a smaller packet. Pull the lanyard out. On one end of the lanyard is a small thread. Loop that through the top and through here. Let that hang. And then we're going to take a zip tie. And remember I talked about having these two in position. We're simply going to thread through the top, through one, through two, and draw that to the close. We'll come back and trim that later. All right, the last thing we're going to attach is the repair kit. Make sure the top is on tight. Run a zip tie through the handle, and I usually will do this. The repair kit is embossed, and I'll have that side facing out towards the customer so they can actually understand what that is. And then go ahead and zip tie that. And then we're going to trim the excess off of those three. There's 1, 2, and 3. And the next thing that we're going to do is go ahead and install the board onto the end cap. So the way to do that with typically you want 2 people around to help you get this done. It's not that it's heavy, it's just a little unwieldy to do this in the store, particularly if there's customers standing around. But basically you're gonna start at the nose and you're gonna walk the board up, as Sean is doing, from the bottom. And then he's gonna walk it over. And place it up on the base shelf. And then he's going to take the strap, the bungee strap, making sure that it is actually hooked in, and this is important. So we want to make sure that it looks like that before you stretch it across. Then he's going to run it underneath, over the handle, and then onto the other side. We've got the board up on display. Everything is locked into place. All the accessories are locked in, and we're ready to go ahead. So there's the phone case facing out towards the customers, the professional touring fin, the repair kit with the repair kit embossed facing towards customers. So everything's locked in and good to go. And the next thing we're going to do is go ahead and load the inventory. On a 3-foot end cap, it calls for 3 units of inventory. We're installing on a 22-inch base shelf, so he's going to lay one down horizontally in the front. And we've got a lot of lip extra here. On an 18-inch end cap, that front box is actually going to hang off by about 2 inches. But the reason is because of that handle in the back. Once your first box is on, don't worry if, in fact, it's hanging actually off an 18-inch base shelf, because the next 2 boxes that he'll load on will actually go farther inboard and stabilize. So there's a second one. He's going to push that all the way back against the board because there's more room. And then a third one. That'll go on top. And so for the Marine Corps exchanges, they carry all 3 colors. That's exactly what you want to see. For the Army Air Force exchanges, they carry the yellow and the blue. So we want to make sure that we have at least 2 of one color and a third of the color. So you've got all colors on board represented at all times. Now, because we've got a 4-foot end cap, for 4-foot end caps with 22-inch base shelves like we have here, they actually can take 5 units of inventory. So you can do that by taking these and sliding them all the way to one side. And then that leaves 12 inches on this side for 1 unit of inventory to go there. And then a 6th box to go on top of that, which we're not going to show here today. And then last but not least, you want to go ahead and get the fact tag on, and you are done. If you have any questions, please give us a call or reach out to us in email. We're here to help.